All right, we're going to dispel this myth of overnight success right here, right now. Grab your boots, lock in. This is going to get weird. Now, look, no overnight success is actually overnight. It takes at least, on average, per my data research, 10 years. 10 years, two hands, 10 years, right? So here are the different steps that we're going to go through just so you can lock in your brain. And the numbers that I'm going to share with you, especially number 8, honestly, is one of the ones that literally made me stop and kind of reconfigure my mental mindset. So number 1, the silent years. So those silent years is when you're going to get into those really deep work blocks. You're going to schedule 90-minute little blocks. And this is when it's distraction-free zone. No cell phones, no other computers, no people walking in. Put a sign on the door. Just it's your time to work. Now, why I'm so emphatic about this is very clear. The University of California had a study done, and they found that when people got distracted, it would take them 23 minutes to get back on task. That is literally missing half of an hour. You know what I mean? To get back on track. That's unacceptable. Next one is going to be progress journaling. Track your daily micro wins in a private journal. Harvard Business School found that, the progress principle, which is the micro journals, like we just discussed, tracking the small wins is the number one booster for emotions, morale, and overall excitement as you go through a long project. Number 2, skill compounding. So what it is, this is the 1% rule. Everybody got a 1% rule. I stinking get it. All right. But if you can improve your skill set or a sub skill by 1% on a daily basis, and then using the compounding effect, what's going to take place is in a year, 12 months, you're going to go from where you are right now, listening to my voice, to 37 times better than where you are at this exact second. Now, this is going to be on you, and I truly believe in you guys, and I want you to try it and tell me what you guys did. I am seriously interested to see what you guys are going to do and where you're going to improve by 1% on a daily basis. Now, you have to do deliberate practice as well. So you spend 20% of your time on the tasks just over that line that you're currently able to do. The study of elite performers found that, when you spend that little time, that 20% on the other stuff, you're going to be 4 times more likely to be a higher achiever and higher performer by taking and segmenting your time out. Now, we're going to move on to strategic pivoting. Now, what in the heck is strategic pivoting? Well, it's really pretty simple. Here it is. Monthly retroactive looks. Okay, so what's retroactive? Looking backwards. Every 30 days, identify what is not, NOT, working and cut it. I don't care if it's your favorite baby project on earth. If it's not producing what it's supposed to do, cut it out like a bad seed out of an apple. This actually came from data from the startup Ginron. I think I'm saying this right. Hopefully I am. Showing that startups, business ideas, concepts, widgets, whatever, right? If you pivot 1 to 2 times, you're going to be 2.5 times. You're going to make 2.5 times more money. That's kind of a big bonus. I like that idea. And you're going to have 3.6% better use when it comes to growth versus if you don't. So pivot, guys. It's not a negative. It's not knocking your product or your idea. You're just enhancing it. You're growing with it, right? That's what you're doing. And this is how you can do it. Do some A/B split testings. So what was an A/B split? Most of you already know this. It's very simple. You have one prototype, second prototype, A, B. And then you push it back out to the market and you see what happens. Who reacts to what gets the better clicks, the better likes, the better views, the more comments, the more reactions, the more, put them in the shopping cart to buy, all of that. The cool thing is that people who do the A/B split test, you, by the way, because you're an intelligent human, you're going to increase by 5 to 10% of profit just by splitting and seeing what the consumers are really looking for. Now we're going to talk about cost of entry. This is going to be the automated hustle savings. You're going to divert 10% of your income. We call it a bridge fund, right? Now, what's a bridge fund? The bridge fund is something that should scare the snot out of you, by the way, if you don't have one, because 40% of Americans cannot handle a $400 emergency if and when it arrives. So 10%, I'll say make $100 a month. Very easy math. You take $10 of the $100, take the $10, put it into account the bridge fund. So when Kashmush hits the fan, you're going to have some reserves that you can go in and, go see a doctor. Look at my face. I got hit by rocks and poison oak, before this video. This is a perfect example of exactly what I'm talking about right now. The thing that bothers me about that is that none of it is in a context where people can actually say, oh my God, this guy's got a messed up face. I should probably go and I should probably build a bridge fund so I don't have to look like him. Keep this face in mind for this single example. Now we're going to do social budgeting. Limit non-essential social events, to 1 day a week. Now, this is when you're on like a full-on sprint. You're about ready to get the widget, the product, the concept, the service, whatever it is, out to market. When you're in that sprint, focus on the sprint. Reducing your social spending by just $50 results in $2,600 a year that you can then reinvest back into your idea, widget, concept, business, service, whatever it is. But you have $2,600 floating around all of a sudden. I'm pretty sure that's going to make a dent and be able to get you a nice something that's going to be able to push your end goal closer to you versus farther away. The oysters can wait. All right. The oysters can wait. Mental fortitude. Number 5, mastermind. Join a group of 3 people pursuing a similar goal. That is so powerful when you have like-minded people, iron sharpening iron when you're going through this stuff. The American Society of Training and Development found that 95% chance of reaching your goal if you have a specifically set up accountability, appointments, and partners with others. That's literally saying you almost have 100% chance, okay? If you don't, kick them in the shins or something. Information dieting. Okay, I really have one of these. It's not a joke. I actually have more than one. Get rid of the doubters. Get all those naysayers out of your brain. And this is going to blow your freaking marble cakes. When you get rid of the doubters on social media, and you stop the consistent negativity in your brain. It could be friends, family, neighbors, coworkers, people online. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all. Okay. Once you get rid of those doubters, you're going to decrease your cortisol, the anger drug in your brain, by 15%. That means it's going to stop impairing your cognitive functions. And you're actually going to be able to solve complex problems easier because you're not worrying about what Bob said about you on Facebook. That's really kind of what it comes down to. All right, infrastructure building, standard operating procedures, SOPs. Document 1 reoccurring task per week. I just did it myself. Before I came on, I had Claude come on and he cleaned up all of my desktop. I do it on Fridays, aka the day this video is being recorded. And so he came in and he completely cleaned up my desktop. And what they found about that, it would have taken me a lot longer than him. And it's proven in the numbers. It says that 30% of increase in efficiencies are done because of AI and being very strategic about where you're spending your time and who does what. Now, this is the automated audit that I want to talk about as well. And I'm using a thing called Make. There's another one called Zapier, which I'm sure a lot of you guys know about. It will automate that one manual task, that small business thing that, checking your email, checking your calendar, responding to whatever, fill in the blanks, right? On average, it's going to get you about 11 hours per week in automated basic administrative workflows right out of there. And you get that time back to continue working on your dream project. Now we're going to step into failure as data. Most analysis, spend 30 minutes writing down exactly why the specific effect failed. Now, studies show that people who reflect on failures are 20% more likely to succeed in their next attempt versus those who are just like, oh, try harder, Bob. No. You've got to understand that analyzing your failures is your success. And I know it's cliche. I get it. But what if? And I'm doing the same thing, and I have done the same thing. I do it all the stinking time, and I know you can too. So put that in your brain for me for a second and tell me, where's that 20%? Where can you grow that? What can you reflect on? What can you not be mad about, but be like, I am so glad I learned that because now I'm 20% better than I was before. Now, the volume targeting. So I want you to do this. And a lot of you are going to say you don't want to do it, but I want you to commit to 10 rejections or failures per month. My buddy Jia Jing, he wrote a phenomenal book about the power of rejection. And it is hilarious if you've not read that book. He also has a TED Talk. Go take a look at him. He's awesome sauce. But if you do the high volume output, is the best predictor of quality on the input. So Dean Sampson's research shows that most powerful creators are often those who produce the most garbage. Why garbage? Because you figured out what doesn't work and what's not going to happen. But it's like Babe Ruth or any of those big names from sports. No one talks about how many shots they missed. They only talk about how many shots they made. So go out there, learn, fall on your face, go back to the 20% rule, correct it, come back to the market. Don't make the same mistake and create the garbage so you can create the gold gems and diamonds and all the good stuff you want in life, right? Now let's take a look at this. Lack. Yeah, lack. The stuff you don't have, right? This is the illumination of lack. Surface area expansion of lack. Send 5. This is the number. Remember the number I told you about in the beginning of the video that just blew my freaking mind? This is it. So check this out. And it's so small. It's so simple. I know you guys can do this. Send 5 cold emails or asks, right, per week. So cold ones, just like LinkedIn kind of emails, right? Like cold emails. This is the cool part. So here's how the numbers game really plays out on this. Increasing your luck surface area, right, aka 5 outbounds that are cold, by making those connections increases the probability of lucky, here it is, by over 400%. Are you telling me that there's not a chance in your day where you can send out 5 cold emails? Remember, A/B split tests, all kinds of crazy stuff you can play around in there, but send out 5 a day to increase yourself by 400%. In your brain, who's that one competitor right now that you're like, that's what Marcy's been up to? Yep, 400%, guys. 5 emails, 5 outreaches, 5 asks, whatever it is. Skill stacking. Let's move on to skill stacking. Learn a secondary skill: marketing, coding, video, audio production, whatever it is. Scott Adams, who's the Dilbert creator, we've all seen the Dilbert commercial. Cartoons. Notes that being, I love this one too. Notes that being in the top 25% of 2 related skills makes you more lucky than being number 1 in just 1. So 25, wait, let me get this right. If I'm in the top 25%, okay, that's very, very doable. I know I can do that. In 2 different skill sets, okay, so audio and video work, or coding and computers, fill in the blanks, whatever it is for you, is better. You have a better chance than just being the number 1 in one section? Start thinking, guys. I see beautiful brightness in your future. And we got 2 more. This is the burnout management. Ooh, baby Moses. Burnouts suck, and they've happened. I've gone through 3 of them at least. And this, I didn't do this, and I should have done it. So I'm talking to myself here. The 50 to 10 rule. So kind of talking about some of our earlier numbers on timing and everything else. I like this one a little bit better. Work for 50 minutes and then take a 10-minute movement break. Get up, walk, go kick the ball for the German Shepherd. Play with the cat. Feed the goldfish. Walk around the block. Go do some dishes. I don't care, right? Do a movement break. What they have found is that the most productive people that do that, they produce 10% better workers that work longer once they take their breaks. On average, people take they actually work for about 52 minutes on average, and then they'll take a break. So reduce that down by 2 minutes, go to 50 minutes, take your little handy dandy little phone here or computer or whatever, watch a clock. 50 minutes, break. 10 minutes, walk. Go harass your neighbor in the cubicle, whatever. Just get up and get moving. Now, we all say, we're going to grind, we're going to hustle, we're going to do this, we're just going to take over the world, right? Well, here's the problem. Sleep is a really, really, really big component of all of this. So sleep is a non-negotiable. It's kind of funny about this number as well, too. Get at least 7+ hours of sleep. And that's not a week, guys. That's a day, a night. So just one night of 4 to 6 hours of sleep can impair your cognitive performance as much as being drunk at a 0.10 limit. So that's like 2 beers. But your brain doesn't know the difference. So if you really want to go over those complex, deep problems, get your sleep. Get up and move. Get the blood pumping. That does not mean go to the vending machine and get Doritos and a Coke. Okay. That means go walk around, get moving, get some good sleep, put some good food in your system. Garbage in, garbage out. Good stuff in, good stuff out. Not hard. Now, here's our last one. Number 10. This is our tipping point. So our KPI tracking. So we're going to track our lead indicators, aka our effort, right? Rather than tracking our lagging indicators, money. Now, I'm going to get into that at the very end. I have a bone to pick with this, and I think there's something you guys need to hear. So stay tuned on that one. So you don't want to look at like the lackers, like the lack of money or the lack of whatever, but it's the effort that you're putting in. Like when you're getting into shape, you don't go to the gym for a week and be like, "Woo, I'm fitting in a bikini," or look at those board shorts. I look great in it. No, it takes time. It takes time. If you're hitting the gym every day, if you're hitting the office every day, if you're following some very common rules that we've gone over so far, you can absolutely become more successful. The effort trumps the money at the end. On average, it takes 10 years of unseen work. That's workouts and work, by the way, before you become an overnight success in a professional field or just emotionally, mentally, or physically, right? Now, this is the last and one of my favorites. The one more habit. You go, one more habit? Greg, what? This is it. One more rep in the gym. Got one more bench press, one more arm curl, one more shoulder, one more mile running, one more, lap if you're in the pool. The Navy SEALs use the 40% rule. And what that really means is that when you feel exhausted mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, whatever else, the 40% rule kicks in, and it suggests to the fact that you're only 40% through your full capacity. That means you have 60% of ability still waiting in the wings, begging for you to show up. So guys, this is on you, guys and gals. Here are those points. This is your roadmap. Write them out, print them, watch this video 1,000 times, share it with somebody. Let me know what you think. Was I right on or was I totally off base? Either way, I love you guys. I'll come back and I'll see you guys in the next video. Boom, peace. Love you guys. Bye.